Hello there. Well, we're getting close to the end. This may, in fact, be the end of the Fallout cosplay parts. But this is definitely the main attraction when it comes to the whole build. The backpack. This is not any specific character. Hopefully that's apparent by now. This is an original character just kind of thrown into the universe. We're going to start on this side, and then I'm going to kind of work my way down. On this side, you can very plainly see the Alice pack frame. This I actually purchased, I believe I purchased it off of Amazon, but originally it was a part of the Ghostbusters build for the Proton pack. I just took it off there temporarily, so, usable for two different things there. And the baseboard, this whole thing is made out of wood. In fact, let me see. This is all simple laminate board that you can buy at like Home Depot or Lowe's. How thick is this? 3/4 inch thick. But, so yeah. Simple laminate board that I then stained with a coffee, I believe. Yes, coffee colored wood stain. Of course, you can pick any color, natural-ish color that you'd like. You might want to work on some other type of straps or frame, or you could do the same thing I'm doing here. The only reason I say that is because this particular one, this is pretty secure, right? This side is only secure with a button, which is good in one way because it's quick on, quick off. For when I'm, going to the con and coming back from it. However, I have to hold this whole thing the entire time because it will not support that weight. All on one button, it just snaps instantly. My dad devised a very simple but effective solution of just taking a clamp and literally clamping it on there. I guess it works, but there's pros and cons with that, of course. But overall, yes, using the frame was a genius idea instead of making my own straps and struggling with that. So, let's see, where can we start? I said I'd start on the top. Let me kind of angle the camera up a little bit for you. Because up on top, I have this dowel that I stained as well. However, instead of mixing the coffee, because, it separates out, the oil and the actual pigments separate. Before shaking it, I simply used the oil by itself, which still carried some of the color. And that's what I used here. So, it's just a less intense version of that on the base of the backpack. Then up top, the hook there has actually been drilled into the dowel. That's an old garden, decoration hook. And up there you can see a prop hurricane type lantern. Safety lantern, whatever you want to call it. I know there's an official term, but I can't seem to remember it off the top of my head. It did light up, but it died on me in the middle of the last con. I wore this to Cosplay World up in Richmond. It did pretty well. Aforementioned strap problems, and then the light completely died. Brand new batteries, by the way, so it's a bulb, switch issue. I'll have to replace it. So let's flip this piece by piece. Now, of course, a lot of this was just ad hoc, on a whim. Building something like this from person to person is going to be completely different. So this is by no means a direct instruction, unless you want to make it that, you know, to each their own. This here is a power slot. Basically, this covers your power outlets on the outside of your house. And the neat thing I did, we'll see later on, is that I can run a wire through here to make it look like the fusion core is, you know, powering stuff, and I can technically run this out and charge a phone. Let's see what else. This is just an anchor point. Even though there is a strap that goes around your torso that comes with the frame, I use this chain as an extra strap piece, basically. This little thing here, this is a simple little hook I made. It gets magnetized inside. Basically, it just holds the fusion core in place, prevents it from falling out the back. So we'll look a little bit more at that later. This here is a simple, very long threaded rod that I bent into a U shape and then thrust in. From there, I hang a bottle of water, which is actually a very clever way of getting around the convention rules if you think about it, because they're like, no outside food or beverage. Well, guess what? My water is a part of the cosplay. Haha, checkmate. Watch, now some cons are going to be like, you cannot have food or water as a part of your... Yeah. Sorry, you know, I thought I fooled them. But this side is basically done. And of course, up top you have the dowel. And actually, if we want to, we'll take a closer look at the top. Because up here, I lashed this together, put a rod through, and just a simple little, you know, cloth cover against the elements type thing, you know, to protect the radio that's down here. And I don't know if you can really see it, but then I got copper wire that comes from the backpack wrapped around up to the lantern. I think it's pretty neat. All right, let me adjust the camera before I bring this back in to the main part of this build. Is the back section. So, quite a bit here to process. Let me kind of bring it up for you. Yes. So, starting at the top, we have a radio, nice old-fashioned radio. Okay. It does work and everything, you know, battery-powered, antenna, you know, extends and all that. I know it's not exactly from the franchise. I was looking for a look-alike, basically. In here, I built a little cabinet handle. It latches shut, and it's the medical cabinet. So in here, we have some Rad-X, and I quite literally went into the Fallout 4 game files and ripped this label out of the game files. And then the bottle is just an old vitamin C bottle that I painted up. So we have some Rad-X. Then we got 3 things of Mentats. My guy really kind of abuses the Mentats. No wonder he's so good at fixing things. I think I went over this already in the previous video, but it's a simple tin that I just painted and slapped a sticker on. But yeah, we got some chems up there. And then in here, right, that's the rod I was talking about, the little magnet. Keeps it just in there. There's a nice little sheet metal box here. Inside, right in there, is an old chandelier piece that acts as a sort of plug for the core. Still works and everything. Plug it in, lock it, and you're ready to go. held in place with, you know, I basically caulked it in and then painted over that with brown to blend it in with the wood. So that's in quite well. And you probably can't see. Don't worry, I'm gonna include some close-up photos throughout this, you know, at certain points. But inside here, some small copper tubing that feeds from the core up to the radio and down to the clock. Now that is important because it makes it look like this is, you know, conduited to those places, right? Like the core is actually powering these things. And of course, I don't have the battery actually plugged in right now, but this is a clock that it makes it kind of look like Nixie tubes, right? But it's actually a bunch of little acrylic panels. And I have it set to a certain way where every so often the numbers kind of jumble, you know, so, but it does just keep track of the time. Behind here is a cavity, right? That is where I put the actual wire, you know, USB wire and the portable battery. So everything's stored right there, plugs right into the clock, kind of hidden pretty well. And maintains that appearance, that illusion. Then at the bottom is a simple blanket. I just wrapped it up. I made these belts, cut some leather, punched to the holes and everything myself, put the buckles in. Right now they're only actually held together, the actual little loop buckle piece, with contact cement. I punched holes across and forgot to put the twine in, so I'll have to put that finishing touch on later. But they held throughout the con, so obviously, you know, it's not broken or anything. And that is about it. Yeah, we went through all this. And I'll show, you know, a little picture of that lit up as well. Okay, on to our final side. Our final side is, again, pretty simple. I just put some hooks and accessories. I kind of left this as dead space, and I don't know what to put there, if anything. At a certain point, too much is too much, you know? Let's see. So yes, simple. This is like a scrap aluminum frame from that old welding project I had. Stick-on hook. Really, the main attraction over here is just what I placed and where. So like these stim packs, right? These little prop stim packs. I can go over that, I suppose. This was like an animal medicine applicator, like syringe. Like you stick it in their mouth and give them medicines like that. Yeah. Stuck a air valve on top. Foam around here. Glued everything into place. Obviously, put some twine around there. The crosses here are little strips of EVA foam that I then painted, you know, so I just basically cut crosses out. But there are the thin little metal parts of the syringe itself, right? And the thing is, they're kind of rounded, they kind of flare out a little bit, and it makes it not even. So what I did is I took my angle grinder, ground it this way so that they're a little more even, and so that when you're looking at it, it's more like a square jutting out from the main body, which made it easier to then apply the rubber cement to the crosses and basically just sandwich onto the little metal stick out. So there's that. I don't know if you can really get a close-up. You see like the little bulge there. So it gives it a good anchor point. The only downside is they are a little flimsy, a little flexible, but they're easy to reshape back to being relatively straight. And it was the fastest thing I could think of. So yeah, we got two of those hanging off the upper hook area. And then on the bottom hook, which is literally just like a little storage door hook, I think, get a good look at that. On the bottom there, I had my coin purse or cap purse, right? Full of all my caps. Yes. And I already went over these pains in the neck. Somebody actually asked me at the convention, like, oh, what was the hardest thing? And what was she dressed up as? I think she was dressed up as like the human form of Rainbow Dash or something. My Little Pony thing. I don't know. But the point is, I had a good conversation, but asked about the hardest part, and I initially said the headset and all the gear on my face and stuff. But then I gave a second thought, and actually, hands down, these bottle caps were the most confusing part, right? Like I said in the previous video, there was no easy way of really getting something that looks, I say looks good, but looks good to my standard because I'm so hard on myself. So other people will say, oh no, it's good enough, it's good enough. Just add weathering around the edge to hide the difference. Not me. But yeah. That is the Wastelander backpack. And yes, it's a little on the heavy side. You know, it's almost as heavy as the Hasbro Proton pack that they made for the Ghostbusters. It's, if anybody remembers, a little back to the EVA suit display presentation, right? The big silver and white box with the cage on the front. It's heavy, kind of like that as well. I'd say that EVA suit's even heavier. I don't know if I could actually wear that anymore. Maybe. But, yeah. You definitely need to rest. If I were to make this again, I'd have to find a different material. Wood is just so readily available, but and you know, thinking of things like foam, it's like, well, I don't think it would support any of this excess weight. You know, it's too bendy. Maybe if I got some sheet metal, just did little tack and stitch welds and made it that way, it might be a bit more compact. But about weight, it might be about the same, if maybe half a pound lighter at best. Yeah, honestly, there's no real great way about it. Because any thinner wood, well, like this stuff up here, it becomes too flimsy. Again, you kind of run into that same issue. But definitely be prepared for some lifting, right? If you're going to try to make something like this. And that's about all I got for you today. It's getting very hot in here. It's like 92 degrees outside, man. 92 degrees outside after, what, 8-9 hours of work? Oh, I'm pretty tired. But I do hope you enjoyed. And I hope y'all get ready to have a good weekend. All right? And I hope to catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.